Hey everyone, this is Rob over here at BuneBape and hope you're having an amazing day. Today I'll be bringing you all another New World video, and this time it's going to be on my top 5 ways for getting Azoth. If you're anything like me and my friends, we're always struggling for Azoth, especially as we got to higher levels. We noticed things were costing a lot and a lot more, especially as you were teleporting further and further away. In this video, I'll be bringing you all the tips that you need in order to not constantly be stranded in the middle of nowhere, asking for your friends to bring you some vials of suspended Azoth. With that being said, if you do enjoy the video or it does help you out at all, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help the video and the channel get noticed, and I really do appreciate it. On top of that, shout out to everyone for the support on the recent videos. I still really appreciate it, and I do enjoy seeing all of your comments and your feedback. If you have any videos or anything like that you want to see, make sure to leave the comments down below, as I do read practically all of them. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the guide. So really quick, before we actually get into the video any further, I quickly am going to be going over Azoth just in case everyone knows or doesn't know what it is. I just wanted to all be on the same page. So Azoth is actually here in the bottom right of your inventory screen, and you can get more of it by using these vials of suspended Azoth. These randomly come from practically any creature that you kill, and they will, when drank, award you with 50 more Azoth. So if you're in a really tight spot, make sure to keep a couple of these on you, and you can use them to get out of there in a cinch. So here in the bottom right, you have 1,000 total possible Azoth, and you can get it from a large variety of ways. As you can see here, it even tells you it's mainly used for fast travel, and also helps you craft more powerful items. Also, the Azoth mainly comes from completing quests as well as closing breaches, and those are actually going to be a couple of the ways that I would recommend getting it, but that will be coming up in just a second. So now that we're all on the same page here, I quickly wanted to bring you over to my very first way that I like to get Azoth. I know this isn't going to be for everyone, so don't worry, a lot of the other options anyone can do at any level, but for this very first option I have to recommend wars. So here I am in front of the war board. This is what it'll look like in every single town, and I would highly recommend signing up. So of course it really does depend on which region and faction, and of course what level you are, whether you get picked for the war or not. So make sure to check with the leaders of the wars of the certain factions and the companies and see whether you'll get in or not and what they're looking for. Some people look for particular builds and particular people, such as healers or people to dive the back line. But either way, if you really are interested in getting into wars and reaping what all of that has to deal with, then make sure to talk to those leaders. But just so you know, if you do win or lose a war, you are going to get anywhere between 300 and 400 Azoth. You're also going to be awarded with money, faction rep and tokens, and experience if you're under level 60, of course. There is no limit for who can be joining a war as long as you've been assigned to a proper faction. But like I said, as people are getting up in levels closer to 60, then a lot of company leaders are going to be looking for those higher level players, because there is a bit of a difference between levels 30s and level 60s when it comes to PvP. So although, like I said, this isn't for everyone, this is going to be my #1 way of getting Azoth. It's nice to sign up for a couple wars. You can be awarded with around 1,200 Azoth in a day if you're lucky enough. So with that being said, let's move on to our next method. So our next method is actually going to be clearing corrupted breaches. So this is what you saw in the tooltip for the Azoth itself, but closing corrupted breaches is actually a really great way, not just for getting Azoth, but also experience, and I even made a video on this. By closing corrupted breaches, you get around 600 to 700 experience for the smaller breaches, and if you close a greater portal, then you're going to be getting anywhere between 1,400 and 2,000 experience. This is like I said, a really great way to level up. If you are tired of doing quests or have run out of quests in a region, then this can bump you up to the next region and make it so that you're able to accept new quests. On top of that, for every single portal, you're going to be getting at least 20 Azoth, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're able to close 10 portals, then that's a really good amount of Azoth, and that'll be enough to get you from place to place. I know personally from my experience as well as teammates' experience, it's very easy to cap out on Azoth if you do portals for around an hour. That being said, that can be kind of boring and it's not a lot of people's style, so we can move on to the next option. So for the next option here, I'm going to be recommending doing quests. specifically side quests and main quests. If we go over and talk to our faction rep here, of course they offer a quest, but as you can see in the reward section, there is not going to be Azoth ever. None of these ever reward Azoth, which is really unfortunate, and I hope that change that eventually. But as you can see here in your journal, a lot of these side missions have Azoth rewards, whether it be 30, 10, 20. Some of the main story missions will even award several hundred if you are still doing that. Then that's going to be a really great way to make sure that you're always topped up while going through a zone. Of course, similar to how corrupted portals are, you're not going to be going and flying to every single place off of 30 Azoth, but if you are clearing through a zone and doing 5 to 10 quests, then this will be plenty enough to hop around the zone and go to the next one. So for this next option, we are going to be going with number 4, and that's going to be very similar to the wars that we talked about earlier, but that's going to be invasions. So as you can see here, we unlock the ability to participate in invasions at level 50. I would highly recommend, of course, getting to level 60 if you really want to stand a chance, but it doesn't matter because similar to wars, whether you win or lose, you're still going to be awarded with a ton of gold and Azoth as well as loot. Also, I don't mean to put you off, but just so you know, if you do lose invasions, that's fine. It's unfortunate and it will have repercussions for the city you're defending, but it is very common and invasions are very difficult to fend off. You're going to need nearly a full team of 60s that pretty much know what they're doing in order to actually successfully complete an invasion. That being said, like I said, for wars, you're just going to get more if you win. So don't worry if you lose, you're still going to get a participation award of, I think, around 200 Azoth just for spending the time to do this. And it doesn't take that much time at all. I think they're the same length as wars, so about 30 minutes. And quickly before I forget, here over at the invasion board, you sign up for them at the same place as the war board. But as you can see here, there's an invasion that I have signed up for in Cutlass Keys, and you can always, whenever you sign up, view the army and whether you've been selected or not. What's really nice about invasions is while you do have to be level 50, it is inclusive and a lot of people are able to join. I think it's first come, first serve. Whoever is governing the particular region does get dibs on the first 10 people that are allowed to join the invasion. But for everyone else that's signed up, you're able to join, like I said, I believe on a first come, first serve basis. So the next 40 people should be able to fill up these slots and get in regardless. So you don't need to know faction leaders or be really good at doing PvP, such as if we were in a war. So this is much nicer as there's a lot less requirements. So I know that this is a high level recommendation. So for the next one, let's go into it. It is definitely going to be for everyone all around. So the fifth and final way that I'm going to be showing you on how I like to gain Azoth is going to be tools. So Azoth Extraction, and I can give you a really good example here. I really enjoy this method for getting Azoth, and I think it is really significant. So I made sure on all of my crafting, or all of my gathering tools rather, is I made sure to have Azoth Extraction on every single one. So as we go through, you can see I have Azoth Extraction, and what's great about this is it gives you 1 Azoth, which you might be asking why is that great? That's not that much at all. But if you think about it, you only get 1 every other time, but you do need to gather a lot in this game. For example, yesterday, and this isn't a flex by any means, but I gathered, I think, around 14,000 fiber, which is a significant amount, and I was able to get several hundred Azoth from that few hours that I was out farming and leveling up my armoring. Of course, that is an extreme example. Of course, I don't expect everyone to go out there and farm for several hours just for some Azoth. I'm just saying this is nice because I use these type of tools while leveling as well. Sure, they might be a little bit more expensive. If you can afford it, I'd highly recommend it, of course. But while just going from quest area to quest area, picking up some fiber, harvesting some petal caps, and getting some boulders mined, you're going to be picking up Azoth here and there. It's going to add up slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4, and eventually you're going to have 30 or 40, especially if you're doing a large farming session where you're cutting down several hundred trees. You're going to slowly be building up that Azoth. So while this isn't going to be the fastest way to get Azoth, it is one of my favorite because it is passive. You're going to be getting Azoth, loot, experience and leveling up your crafting if you decide to use it for crafting all the supplies you're getting, or you can sell it for money. So either way, I think it's a great way to build up your account, level up all of your different abilities, and make sure that you're progressing throughout the game while also having Azoth to get around. That's why this is one of my favorite ways, but because it has such a low yield on Azoth, I had to put it as the 5th and final option. Of course, there are other options that I didn't cover in this guide, and I would love to hear what other people like to do for their Azoth, but this is going to be my few ways that I enjoy getting it. I'm going to be coming out with a video very soon on how to not spend all your Azoth once you get it. These are just some tips that I've come up over time and through the mistakes that I've made. Hopefully I'll be able to give you all the knowledge so that hopefully you don't make the same mistakes and spend 800 Azoth practically going nowhere. I would have included that in this video, but it would have been way too long. I tried it a couple times, but it was like a 30-minute video, so I'll make that into a separate video that'll be coming later this week. So like I said, this is just the stuff I like to do, and none of these methods are too crazy. I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware that they existed, and I would like to again hear what everyone else likes to do for their Azoth. So with that being said and out of the way, I really hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all very soon.